Well, let's get it, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Look,
My bad, I still got the music on in the background. Good morning. Well, y'all know the vibes. Every Saturday we are kicking off chapter 8, or part 4 of Start With Why. This book is fire. Definitely giving a lot of different insight. But I saw a note in the chat just now, and my bad, OG, Triple OG, and Money. If I can, I'll play that as we close out. But with that being said, Amber, you can definitely start us off today because I know you got to get going here in a second. So go ahead, floor is yours.
What up, everyone? Let me bring up my notes up in here. So, one, I just want to say that I really, 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 really love this book. It's super timely, super on point, and super every single thing that I needed to learn at this time in my life. Where's chapter 8? So, one of the first things that I talked about is that charisma has nothing to do with energy. It comes from a clarity of why. It becomes from absolute conviction of an ideal bigger than oneself. Energy, in contrast, comes from a good night's sleep or lots of caffeine. Energy can excite, but only charisma can inspire. Charisma commands loyalty. Energy does not. And I just really related to that. I really felt like I know a lot of leaders who have, you can't duplicate. I know like Marcus and Mikhail have a lot of charisma. I personally feel like I have a lot of charisma as well. So that was really awesome. Honestly, one of the things about chapter 8 that I really, really like emphasize, and I ended up texting Marcus and Mikhail about this because it gave me so much clarity, was it talked about how like Y type people, they are visionaries. They have the dreams, they have all the things, and they are the ones who are going to inspire and motivate people to move. But they also need how type people to actually execute the plan. And Y types need to find the how types so they can be effective in like moving a bunch of people in a certain direction. And it gave me a lot of clarity and relief because I've been trying to do everything myself, I feel like. And I realized like I'm a really, really good white person. But then I also got some clarity too because I was like, oh my gosh, Marcus and Mikhail are my help people because they literally helped me put the structure in place for my business. And I also got clarity on that too, on what a business is or like what a company is from the book. It talks about how a company is just a structure. And that gave me a lot of clarity just because like when it comes to me and my business and the mission that I have for it, like, yes, I could talk about the why all day, but how and the structure of the business is how we're gonna like actually effectively move people from point A to point B. So really, really like that. It says, as in the case was almost with almost all great leaders, there were others around Dr. King who knew better how to do that. For every great leader, for every Y type, there is an inspired how type or a group of how types who take the intangible cause and build the infrastructure that can give it life. That infrastructure is what actually makes any measurable change or success possible. I also met a lady yesterday. I talked to her and she's excited about being a part of Powerful Creator and all the things too. But after that, like in the midst of the conversation, like we were talking, I got to know her a bit and she works for HR and like she's a part of this startup company. And basically towards the end of our combo, so y'all know I be talking. So we talked for 4 hours about everything. um, she had just gave me some insight on some value that she could help me like within my business in the future. So that's exciting. And she had read Start With Why too. So we were like on the same page. It was awesome. Let's see. To reach $1 billion status, to alter the course of an industry requires a special rare partnership between one who knows why and one who knows why and those who know how. The relationship starts to clarify the difference between a vision statement and a mission statement in an organization. And again, this entire chapter just reminded me of my relationship with Marcus and Mikhail and TGF because that's really like what it is. And it talks about how that relationship is really important and it like stems on trust, and that kind of trust, you can't really like get anywhere else. Like it's a special type of trust. Let's see. Almost done here, guys. We're just looking into these notes. But when we do expect more. For those not comfortable being held to a higher standard, I strongly advise against trying to learn your why or keeping your golden circle in balance. Higher standards are hard to maintain. It requires the discipline to consistently talk about and remind everyone why the organization exists in the first place. It requires that everyone in the organization be held accountable to how you do things, to your values and guiding principles. And it takes time and effort to ensure that everything you say and do is consistent with your why. And honestly, that statement really, really hit me. And that's what I've just been like focusing on in this season, is really just articulating that why over and over and over again. And if you like talk to Imani, I just be talking about the why over and over and over again, because that's what they say is the most important thing. And it really is. And so now, oh, real quick, it says higher standards are hard to maintain. It requires discipline to constantly talk about and remind anyone of the why of the organization exists in the first place. It requires everyone in the organization to be held accountable to how you do things. That just speaks for itself. Okay, it requires discipline. And that's just something that spoke to me, because I was like, okay, that's something that I have to keep in the front of my mind, have to be disciplined about, just consistently talk about the why. Now, I want to tell y'all a story about how I did not apply the start with why principle and how it bit me in the ass really, really, really fast. So I've been working on a course for Powerful Creator, and I was really, really excited about it. I kind of like talked about it a little bit prematurely, but it's all good. And so the other day I was really excited about it, and I got on a call with Imani and Nicole, and I immediately started talking about the course. And I started talking about the how and the what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. And I was just talking about that. I was like, this is what we're going to do. And so later in the conversation, like me and Nicole talked, and then when Imani got on the phone, she had like a lot of anxiety towards like this course, this like challenge that I had brought upon us. And she was talking to me about like her anxiety and how she just how she felt about it, right? And it wasn't in like she didn't feel good about it. And so then whenever I was listening to her talk, I literally was like, calm face. I did not talk about the why as to why we were doing the entire course in the first place, because that's what she was talking to me about. She was like, I just don't feel like I could do it because this and this and that. And then after, like while I was listening to her, I was like, but that's why we're doing it. And so then I was thinking, I did not articulate the why. I just told them what and how we were going to do it. And don't do that, because it causes a lot of anxiety in people if they don't know why we're doing something. So firsthand lesson, really, 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 really fast. And I love it. And, we grow from there. So that's all I got to say and share today. I don't think I said that on the camera. Popcorn next. Austin. And after Austin, Imani. If Austin doesn't say anything in like 30 seconds.
It's too late. It's mine. I'm taking it. Happy Saturday, y'all. I'm happy that I was the example, because honestly, that why was, I'm getting more and more clear on my why. And I swear to y'all, when she told me that, I would like, I'm going to LA next month or this month. And when I lived in LA, like I was a different person. You feel me? Like I didn't know my whys. I didn't have clarity. I was all over the place. So her talking about this challenge, me going back home and like having this realization that I'm going to be facing my old self with my new self and integrating the two, and not having like a clear reason, I was freaking the hell out. I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. Like, can I even do it? Like dead ass had a whole breakdown, y'all. It was like, it was bad. But then she was like, you know what? She explained the why. And as I'm reading this book, last week I told you I was out of touch. I'm back. Your girl is back. You feel me? So I started reading again. I know. I started reading again, and I'm like getting clear truly on the why. Marcus, you even said like getting clear on your why, posting it everywhere. And I am getting much clearer on my why, like as time goes by, as I'm reading this book. So chapter 8 stood out to me the most because one, because I read it first, and two, because it was talking about the why versus the how people. And sometimes I find myself not knowing how, and I'm still gaining clarity whether I am a how person or a why person. And I want to make sure that I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing, like to the T, where I can like kind of spout it out to anybody and it makes sense every time. Um, but something that chapter 8 said, I was like, chapter 8. I'm gonna find it, y'all. But it's like having that community and the people to support you on this journey. Like we see in the book that the Wright brothers was a perfect example of having a community of people who believed in what you were saying. And I truly believe it's because these people themselves believed it without any doubts and went for 100%. And that's why they were able to inspire people versus, having the energy and it kind of fading away over time. Like that. Oh, here it goes. Oh my gosh. So it says, no matter how charismatic or inspiring the leader is, if there are not people in the organization inspired to bring that vision to reality, to build an infrastructure with system and processes, then at best, inefficiency reigns, and at worst, failure results. So it's really important to, yes, have the vision, have the why, but to have the actual people that you have inspired to have your back and get you to that next point. Like all of the big people, the people from Southwest, it was like a two-person job. It was a group effort to get people. So like for me, Amber was talking about her is TGF and Marcus and Mikkel. For me, Amber is my how person because she has helped me, like me being a part of Powerful Creators, she's helped me get to this point of clarifying all the things that I want to do, why I want to do it, and bringing structure to that. So honestly, y'all, it's really important to have a solid team and trust them, trusting yourself and your intuitions, but also having that faith in the team that you inspire to be there for you through it all. So I just can't wait to keep going with it. And one day I'll just be releasing a product and, I'm going to know why. I already know why I want to do it. It's just having a team to do so. So it's a beautiful thing. I am going to popcorn.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Period. Powerful grid. Girl, I'm a popcorn Nito. I'm a popcorn Kelsey. All right, I'm a popcorn whoever want to go.
Damn, what's up, Nito, Kelsey, and Austin? What's up, y'all? What's good? They just on the call today. I know Kelsey ain't got a voice, but whoa. Well, it's all ball. I'll take it, I guess. What's up, y'all? What's good? You know what I'm saying? What's happening? It's good to see y'all. I just put something in the chat and it just kind of rang in my head after Imani and Amber were just speaking. Like, to me, one of the definitions of being a business coach is honestly transferring your why into just helping people create their how. And like that's just kind of like the process that you have to go into. And in order to be a good coach, you got to be a good player, period. So you find out how your way worked, and then you can turn around and transfer that how into multiple different ways. So it's just dope, honestly, this process of becoming a coach, because I also was chopping it up with Marcus in the beginning of Amber speaking, and I literally put a message in here to him like, bro, it's kind of dope how we came together in the very beginning in the cultivation of TGF with a why. We got started with I Am Mastery Academy with a why. And then from joining the company, being around the leaders, being involved in the education, actually going through all of the courses and like actually being diligent in those spaces, we figured out our how in the process and then started to build the how. And we became our own like how and why people to just bounce off of each other for months while we were creating the infrastructure of what this was. Then, as we brought it to whole squad and actually inspired them as well to actually take part into really taking that action, it was just dope to really just look through and be like, man, we literally mapped out this process. And instead of having a person literally come into our life and be like, hey, I'm going to teach you how, we were like, hey, we're going to use God's lessons that he's teaching us in our life, and we're going to listen to him, and he's going to teach us how. And thus, TGF was built. So it's just dope, man. Honestly, I'm really grateful for what we've been able to create here. And I'm really grateful for the partnerships that we've made as a company, as a team, as a squad, literally as a family. It's just truly amazing, honestly, how we can come together every single Saturday for the last almost 3 years now and meet up on a book club call, read together, grow together, fellowship together, talk about God together, cry together, grow together. Like, it's just dope. Honestly, I'm really grateful because ultimately, with me being a why person, the only why that I've thought about for the longest, as long as I can remember, is building a healthy and wealthy community, period. And that stems from the inside out. So, with that being said, we've been able to literally start cultivating that vision one person at a time. And now we've gone and impacted well over 400 people that have now come through our website. There's 412 contacts we send a push notification to every time that we send a contact, or excuse me, a push notification. And it's crazy to even think about that because this started with two of us. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. And so to go to over 400 that we've been able to impact just in 2 short years, meanwhile going through everything else that we've also gone through, it's truly amazing. And I'm inspired to say the least to keep on going. But these chapters, I hadn't quite finished chapter 8. I think I have like 20 pages or so left. But ultimately, like putting all of that into perspective, talking about how Martin Luther King had, oh boy, I don't remember his name, it started with an A. How Steve Jobs had his other boy as well that helped him actually build the Apple computer. He was just the visionary for the Apple computer. It was just dope to see.
Ralph.
I think his name was Ralph. You're right. It was just dope to see how like every major company started out with low key a powerful partnership between two people who low key had some history too. So it just let me know like we on the right track, bro. I'm freaking proud. Sorry to have my Marcus moment, y'all, but I just love my guy because truth be told, he came in when I was a very big why person. I knew some hows, but honestly, Marcus is so organized and like particular about things that he had to make us get very disciplined and actually map out the how. So I appreciate you, Marcus Rivera, for being my how person as well, as we really have just cultivated a vision together. But you've definitely done your thing on making this thing move, and everybody feels it, everybody knows it, and it's why we all give you so much props, bro. So that was dope. It's kind of where I'm at. I'm about to get into the build a megaphone that works, and I already know I'm excited for that. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a Michaela type of passage. So I'm excited to read, and then I'm also excited to see what everybody else got. He said, gonna make me cry. Love you too, bro. Hey, look, the reason why I'm feeling this, I'm gonna be transparent. I've been out here like trying to do all this other stuff, and there's nobody like Marcus out here, y'all. I'll just say that. I thought I found me another business partner to make some things happen with that was like, oh yeah, I think we can make some amazing things happen. Like me and my boy have made some amazing things happen, and there's nobody like Marcus Rivera. So I just appreciate it because now I'm in another period of transition, and it just makes me truly realize and be grateful for exactly what we have. It's real for real, Imani. It's not a game. Because what we have is something serious. You know what I'm saying? The bromance and the business plan. Both B's. We outside. Big B's. As I've been saying since Marcus used to be hopping on my team calls back in the day. I used to be like, big B's. This is what we're creating. It's crazy. Brotherhoods, bromances, families, and businesses. Quit playing. But go ahead, Marcus, Kelsey, Nito, Austin, Tay. I'm past 20, y'all.
I don't know what you said about billionaires, bro, as well.
I ain't leaving that one out yet. It just had came.
Okay, bad. I was just saying. Go ahead, Tay. My fault.
No, you good. So I'm new to the whole book thing, obviously. Shout out to Marcus as well. So I haven't got much into it yet, but I am on it. And I want to second everything that Mikhail just said. I just recently had a conversation with bro, and it opened my eyes to a lot. And needless to say, bro, I appreciate you. And you will most likely be that person for me as well. Like that's just what checked through that conversation. And it wasn't even like intended to go that route. He was just doing what Marcus does, checking in, tapping in, in the midst of his storm, um, hearing what I got to say and like diving into what I'm actually saying to get to the real root of what we're talking about, on top of speaking about what he said, giving the vibes and giving the knowledge of what he did, standing true on what he said, and also in the midst of that conversation, seeing what I actually is going on with me and diving off to help me figure that out. So just, all of that just let me know, like, one, I got a lot of shit to figure out, for one. And two, just on a deeper level of like what I really need to be focusing on, you know what I'm saying? So just from shining a light on all of that, man, I got a lot to figure out, and I thank you for shining light on that, even despite how uncomfortable it might feel. And he gave a lot of props to you too, Mikhail, obviously. So I that accountability is a need, So as I told him, I'm gonna do my part and showing up more. So this is me living that out. But um yeah, so I'm just interested in getting to the book and starting here and figuring out what's up. So sorry I ain't got notes or nothing like that, but I feel like I need to share that. Shout out to y'all. So whoever else need to go, don't do your thing.
Austin, Nito. Nito, I know you ain't read, bro, but if you want to like touch on anything that has been said thus far, you're more than welcome. You already know the vibes, bro. You've been on plenty of book clubs, big dog. Nito, Jamito.
Nito probably in the shower and got his
Oh,
phone.
yeah.
Hey, but Tay, love you, bro. For real, for real. I'm glad you're here, man. Glad you're in the process. And we all gonna get to the finish line together, bro. Period. It's game time. You already know. And I don't know. Austin must be in the shower or something too. So
Yeah, I
might as well just go ahead and
I
take
got
it.
you. Okay, I'll take it then, I guess. Well, first off, damn, y'all, I had to turn off my camera and just let one out real quick. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Each and every one of y'all. It's been a surreal journey thus far, and I'm like extremely excited for the positioning. I've learned pretty often. I was telling this to Tay when we were chopping it up that oftentimes we mistake proximity to positioning, meaning like, especially on my faith journey, I've always known that the more in tune I am with God, the more He'll be able to use me as well as give me the things I need to bless others. I've learned recently that just being close doesn't mean that I'm submitted and underneath what he wants. And for a long time, I was very frustrated. Even in our first like year of really trying to get things going off, because I was getting closer to him, but I wasn't submitted to underneath what he wants for me. And as he was allowing the blessings to start to flow, instead of staying submitted or in position, I thought that I was close enough. And if shout out Michael Todd, he gave this example. But if we're a empty cup of water, the only way the cup gets filled is if you're underneath the faucet. And if the faucet is running, there will be an overflow if you are in position. The only way that you get the overflow, though, is if you keep the position, not just remain next to the faucet. Like, it does no good if the faucet's right here and your cup is right here. Your cup needs to actually be underneath in order to receive. And I've been learning that God will continuously place you in position, but it's your obligation to stay there. And I've been learning a lot by staying there. And y'all, wealth is truly not a dollar sign in your bank account. It really isn't. And I look at our circle. I look at the people who are in this community who are not on this call. I look at the people who have came and gone, and all I can feel is just an extreme amount of gratitude and love and appreciation for the positioning. And I'm just grateful for all you guys. I really am, man. And y'all words don't fall on deaf ears or go unappreciated. I just feel honored to be a part of something that's bigger than myself. And as Mikhail said, like when we first got started, our why was literally to create that positive, empowering community to help people truly become the best version of themselves and get from where they're at to where they really want to be. And at the end of the day, as he was talking about MLK, he said Dr. King didn't change America by himself. It was the movement of millions of he inspired that changed the course of history. So I appreciate, and I'm always giving thanks, not only to Mikhail for guiding me and helping me along my process, but also to everyone who's given me permission to help them along theirs, because I don't take that for granted at all. And it just shows that we're on the right path and we're going exactly to where he wants us to go and being used for his purpose and not just our own. So shout out y'all for being part of the movement and being in tune. I wanted to touch on, I know Amber hit on a really big point that I want to talk about in terms of accountability. I was telling this to Tay, and I think it's important enough to continuously hear on a very consecutive basis. And it's this. I learned this guy from this man, Dewey Saxton. He's Jamaican. And I hopped on one of Mikhail's calls back in the day. I wasn't even on his team at the time. Mikhail was letting me plug into his system and learn. And Dewey came on and said something that honestly changed the course of how I operated and did things. So y'all, you never know what call is going to do it for you. The call you miss is the call you probably need the most. Okay, so this is what he said. He goes, I operate on a quadruple A battery. He's like, the double A, the triple A, I operate on a quadruple A battery. He said the first A is Almighty God. He's my number one life and business partner. He said the second A is affirmations. What you say about yourself will come true. The third A is accountability. And he said this one line that honestly tripped me out, y'all. And remember this, write it down, say it to yourself often. He said, intelligent people understand how important accountability is. Winners get it established. And I was like, damn, do we? Quit playing with me. I was like, yo, I wrote that thing down. And from that moment on, I was receptive to accountability in a way that I was never open to it before. And it was literally because, like, I want to win for my people. It's always been my why. I want to win and create abundance for my family, for my loved ones, and for my friends and my people, so that the environment we establish and the foundation we co-create is strong enough for my kids to walk upon, not even just my grandchildren. And that requires a special type of group of individuals who are willing to do things that are uncomfortable and are willing to put each other in places where you can love somebody where they're at, but you won't accept them for who they remain because you know who they can be. One thing I like to ask people pretty often now is, especially when I notice it, is like, bro, help me understand why you continuously play underneath your potential, because I don't get it. The only reason why we're aligned and we've linked arms because I know you're meant for greatness and we're going to go and do this thing together. What changed from then to now? And being able to have that type of conversation and deliver it with love is so difficult. And as Tay says, extremely uncomfortable, but it's necessary, y'all. What we're doing hasn't been done before. And in that process, shout out Amber for really touching into that accountability portion, because without it, there's no way you can absolutely grow and get to where you're going, because in order to change new levels, you have to become somebody completely different. And you need people around you to sharpen your axe. You need people around you to literally develop and grow things that you've never established or implemented in your life before. And man, bro, all flowers go to Mikhail, bro. He's literally stepped on my toes in ways that most people ain't never stepped on my toes before. And sometimes I have to like catch my red energy, because I'd be like, bro, what the hell? What are you talking about? Hey, me, bro. But no, but like he does it in such a like very sincere and loving, full of genuine energy type of way that you receive it, y'all. So like being able to communicate effectively and then actually come from a place of love, y'all, it takes time, but I urge y'all to practice it as often and as early as possible, because you never know later on down the line whose life you can impact and literally change throughout the process. It really just comes from an ability to first understand, yes, as a smart person as you are, accountability is important. But in order to win, the successful individuals, they establish it. So be willing to receive and give the accountability. And then the last one, just because Dewey was that man, the last A was action. Be the ace, because action cures everything. So shout out my guy. I literally read this every day. Got my whole note card, and I look at it because, y'all, as my guy talked about, let me see if I can find where I highlighted it in this thing. Is it chapter 9? Oh, what's it? Nope, it was not chapter 9. You know what? I can't find it. I'm gonna give it 5 more seconds. Okay. He talked about standards. So this is what I wanted to add upon what my my homegirl Amber was talking about. He said that when we do have a sense for the why, we expect more. For those not comfortable being held to a higher standard, I strongly advise against trying to learn your why or keeping your golden circle in balance. Higher standards are hard to maintain. It requires the discipline to constantly talk about it and remind everyone why the organization exists in the first place. It requires that everyone in the organization be held accountable to how you do things, to your values and guiding principles, and it takes time and effort to ensure that everything you say and do is consistent with your why. But for those willing to put in the effort, there are some great advantages. So all it takes, I think the biggest word in there is willing. Like you ain't got to be amazing at accountability. You ain't got to be amazing at talking to people. You just got to be willing. And if you're willing, you'll like do the things. That's my part. So that's what stood out to me. Like higher standards are hard to maintain, but what's easy to do is not worth it, y'all. It's not. I don't know how many years I went about doing things easily, and I refuse because I've raised my standard and I'm not going to compromise it for anyone or anything, especially because those standards were backed by, in my opinion, and convicted with God. So raise your standard and then hold it, and don't forfeit that standard for anything or anybody, y'all. I feel like sometimes we understand what standard we want in our life, but we allow people from our past, or we allow individuals that we come into to influence whether or not we continuously meet the standard on a day-to-day price. This is why they say success is not free. It's a price, and it gets paid every day. You've got to wake up and decide and stay disciplined and consistent in order to actually understand that the why is extremely important, but that why will make things extremely clear to you. And whether or not you hold the standard is completely up to you. And I feel like that's the part that freaks a lot of people out. You have the power. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And it's because you literally have the strength to completely change your life. It doesn't matter how much motivation you have around you or inspiration. Once the why is clear for you, are you going to accept the why to be your truth? Is what I was able to take this paragraph. And all it takes is you just being willing enough. So as you guys implement the accountability on page 147, I suggest rereading that paragraph pretty often, because he reminds you, especially at the end, that if you're willing to put in the effort, there's a lot of advantages that comes with you holding those standards and creating accountability within your circle and within your organization. I know we got a lot of people. We're literally gonna be multi-million and billionaire type of business owners, y'all. Like, you have to first believe that. Imani running multiple wholeness and wellness resorts. Tay with your entertainment company. We got DMM, my guy Nito outside literally working on his branding and clothing gig, also wanting to get into music. Miss Audrey is still being a at-home mom, but literally has aspirations of doing podcasts and a bunch of things to give back to not just her kids, but other mothers. And all I'm saying is, like, as we step into that next level, we need people, as he was talking about in that golden circle, to help us with the how. So if we get clear on the why and we're that great leader that he spoke about, it requires us to have the charisma. So this is something that wasn't touched on, and then I'll pass the rock. So essentially, he said that energy is easy to see, easy to measure, and easy to copy. Charisma is hard to define, near impossible to measure, and too elusive to copy. It's different. Charisma is different, bro. And it's so wild because I remember when we were first getting going, everybody was like, yeah, we just do things a little differently around this piece. The energy is something serious. And the word we were using was energy, and it was not energy at all. Like, yes, everything's energy, but it was definitely charisma. Our individuals were moving in a way that, yes, you can attempt to duplicate, but you cannot literally do it the same way, because charisma comes from a clarity of why, an undying belief in a purpose or a cause bigger than yourself. Charisma has nothing to do with energy. It comes from a clarity of why. It comes from the absolute conviction, an ideal bigger than oneself. He repeated that sentence twice on the same page. It's important. What's worth repeating is worth knowing, right? And he said, charisma commands loyalty, energy does not. All great leaders have the loyalty to a company, and it trumps all other types of offers or pays or benefits, because the charisma allows for that transfer of the belief through a why that is bigger, so that the umbrella you create with why you're doing it can fit everyone else's vision. That's why people want to build it with you. That's why people want to actually dive into it. But you've got to get extremely clear on it. I remember thinking for years I was clear, and my guy Mikhail was like, bro, what do you want, bro? Because you done signed on to literally learn over here, and I feel like you're titter-tattering, because at the time I was with another company. Like, what it is that you really want to do? And I was like, bro, he was like, man, write down your why, shoot me a screenshot. And I did. And I still have it in my notes today, and I look at it every day. And from that point, I got really clear, y'all. And like, the clarity allows for the road to be understood on the steps you need to take. It's only in confusion that there's a lack of action. So I think this book is something serious, y'all, because once you have the why being clear, those who share the belief will be drawn to it and maybe want to take part in the beginning to and bringing it to life. If that belief is amplified, it can have power to rally even more believers to raise their hands and declare, I want to help. Inspiration only drives the process. You're going to need something more. And whoa, the I want to help. For years, y'all, building a business, I always was seeking the help. And like, first time in the past 3 years, we've had multiple individuals literally be able to help us do what we do, run mental health calls from experts who had heard about what we got going on, understood why we were doing it, and said, hey, I want to help, from people who are in the church seeing what we're doing and allowing God to move and operate in faith and everything we got going on, saying, I want to help. Like, y'all, it's just a different type of, I don't want to say come from, but it's a different type of reception of understanding that like the help comes from you getting clear and understanding the standards, keeping those standards, and then that why allowing other people to know that with that belief, the hows are the action we take to realize the belief, and the whats are the results of those actions. So all we really need to do is get clear on the why and allow everything to fall into place, and then we can keep moving and grooving, impacting more people. So I appreciate y'all buying into the why. You know what I'm saying? Like showing up for yourselves and being real about your situations. And despite what it is you've got going on, not forfeiting your standard to literally grow and develop into the person that God's called you to be. Because y'all, I see it in my mind on a daily basis, and it drives me. I see y'all literally impacting the entire globe in a really big way. And call me crazy, but I'm in good company when you do so. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for y'all being crazy with us, and I love you guys, man, and I appreciate it. So that being said, I'm gonna pass this thing over to whoever wants to take it. Austin, Nito, are y'all available currently? My guy,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Everly.
Hold on, y'all.
Hey, bro, off the backboard.
My
Take
fault.
that
I've
thing.
been moving and grooving, trying to get
Yeah,
this
bro.
puppy situated. He just peed everywhere, so we yeah, been dealing with a little piss mess this morning, so my fault. Um, but yeah, I guess from what I did here, I've been, like I said, moving around. Um, Marcus, you kind of touched on a lot of things that I don't know that were necessary to talk about, I guess, and necessary to address as far as um, I don't know, just the role of us as leaders and like what we really need to be doing as far as showing everybody else um, like what needs to be done. You know what I mean? Leading from the front. And I think that at one point I got burnt out. Obviously, you know, Marcus, Mikhail, you know, like I just got burnt out with trying to bring people with us. Sorry, this lighting is terrible. There we go. All right, so like just trying to like get people to do more than they were willing to do for themselves. You know what I mean? I think I got burnt out on that for a time, but I just realized and had to kind of, you know, backtrack and realize that you can't force somebody else to do what it is that they don't want to do. You can make them aware of like their potential, and you can keep telling them and showing them like, hey, like, look, bro, this is what I see in you, and this is where I see us going. But you got to obviously take the steps to be able to go there, and that's why I think it's important. You know how this book has addressed in a sense, it's like a hierarchy of like how success is formed within, you know, organizations and within um, you know, people in a leadership position. Because obviously, as he talked about, um, the people who, let me see where I can find it so I don't mess it up here. One second. So where am I at? Okay, right here. It kind of takes in chapter 8, I think. Um, he talked about because he had talked about the golden circle in previous chapter where it was flat, but then he kind of flipped it to where it is now like in a three-dimensional version in the cone. So like he's talking about how because at the center of the flat circle you could see the why, and then the next circle is the how, and then the outer side is the what. But when you view it as a cone, it's obviously from the top down. So the why, it's on top, how, and then what on the bottom. But it says, he said that, the cone represents a company or an organization, an inherently hierarchical and organized system. Sitting at the top of the system representing the why is a leader. In the case of a company, it's usually the CEO, whatever. And then the how level is typically includes the senior executives who are inspired by the leader's vision, whatever. And then what are the results of those actions? So really just, I don't know, in a more, not even just in the business side of things, I think it's just in more so in life, like just even within like the church, like within, whether you go to like young adults or something like that, I believe there's always like some sort of leader at the top giving you the vision, showing you exactly what it is that they picture for either the group or for the company, whatever. And then it just kind of trickles down. And I believe that every I'll just say organization for the sake of conversation needs that leader. And obviously we have multiple leaders within our organization, but to really keep the why at the forefront and then just keep reminding of the people who are in like the how and the what stage of the organization to keep them inspired and going. Because he talked about too earlier in this chapter about how, let me see, he was talking about how Steve Ballmer, the CEO, or the dude who replaced Bill Gates as the CEO of Microsoft, said he has like an amazing energy about him. And he's always bringing the energy to the people and to the crowd to motivate them. But what contrasted him from Bill Gates was that Steve was as a very motivational person, but motivation, it's fleeting. It comes and goes, and it doesn't always stick around. So, but where Bill contrasted him was that he was a very inspirational person, although he didn't like do the whole, he wasn't very energetic, but what he was saying was more so charismatic. So it said in this chat, in the third paragraph or something, said energy motivates, but charisma inspires. So I think there's a lot of motivational people out there. And I think there's a lot of motivational people within our organization and and then like the partner company that we work with as well. But I think what we need more of, obviously, is the more inspirational people. And I think that's where everybody who is building is looking to get to, because obviously we're not always motivated to do the things that we need to do and do the things that we said we need to do or that we know we need to do. But how to not only inspire other people, but how to keep ourselves inspired on a daily basis to really go out and make the impact that we said we wanted to make. Because I know I've definitely, struggled with it before, where I don't always feel like doing the little things that I need to do on a daily basis that I told myself I was going to do, that I wrote down, that I have goals to accomplish. But it's I actually just last night, just to kind of help me in that aspect, just because I was thinking of my why. I actually changed. I had my background set to where it would shuffle like some images that were inspirational or motivational to me. But honestly, I just changed it to my why. I changed it to my family. You know what I mean? That's what I did, because I just need to see them every day, because sometimes, because they live in a whole different city than I do, I don't always get to see them or talk to them, or think about stuff like that, or think about them like that, like I want to. So just really keeping the why at the forefront of my mind, because obviously I'm on my phone more often than not, whether it's for business or or otherwise. So, sorry, I know that's a bit of a ramble and I was kind of all over the place, but I just honestly just the overall message from like what I have read. Obviously, I haven't been able to finish everything yet, because I'm the type of person, once I start reading one book, I have to finish that book, and I don't know, otherwise I get the information misconstrued in the different books. So I've been reading Think and Grow Rich as well. So I've been kind of back and forth between the two. But what I have gotten from this is that I guess the overall message in and of itself is just that kind of what we've been taught inside of the business. It's just that if your why is strong enough, like the how doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get there regardless, um, as long as you keep the why um, in a prominent position. But once you start getting outside of that, once you start getting distracted by all the outside noise or the no's or the negative people um, that try to discourage you from what it is that you're trying to accomplish, then that's when things can get a bit difficult. But I found that when I have been um, keeping my why at the forefront of my mind, then honestly all the noise really doesn't matter. So um, I don't know. I really like what I have read, and I'm going to go back and reread the full book over again. Um, but I don't know. It's definitely something that I feel like I mean, everybody should read, no matter what kind of industry or walk of life you are in, um, just because life is about relationships with other people. Really, I mean, unless you are completely isolated yourself somewhere in the world and don't talk to absolutely anybody, um, I think that obviously, because even with a job, so I guess this is the last thing I'll say. Even with a job, we all have a why as to why we get out of bed and go do the job that we hate doing. You know what I mean? For most of us, and so if you didn't have that why, you probably wouldn't get out of your bed and go to the job and work it um, for minimal pay. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like that the stronger your why, um, the more success you're gonna have. So I will stop my ramble there, and whoever else wants to go, if you're available, go ahead.
Nito, Kels, Tia.
I know Kelsey said that she can't really talk.
Oh yeah, yeah, she did. She texted me. My fault. But Nito, Tia, is there any big takeaways y'all had from the call today at all? Nito, Jamito?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? My bad. I've
What's
been
up, big
moving.
dog? Hello.
What's up, man? My bad. I've been moving and grooving in the house. But I mean, I haven't read the book, which I know I need to get on it. But I mean, obviously, just with the title, our why, we talk about it all the time. And lately, uh, I've been looking back on my why a lot more than I have in the past, just to kind of give me that boost, like like we all say, and remind us why we even started this and why we even do what we do. And because I was actually having just a little conversation with myself, and I've been in this thing for almost about a year and a half now, and I kind of just said like, I'm done waiting around.
I obviously see, starting to treat this more as something like a sport. If you know me, sports is very big in my life. Grew up playing football, baseball, basketball, anything you could think of. And in those situations, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best I could be in each one of those things. And, you know, I seen with the hard work and the dedication that I had in those, I did become, pretty damn good. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to realize, that being an athlete isn't just about being an athlete. It also translates into how you do life, and um basically just treating it as, something that I'm done wasting time with. You know what I mean? It's been long enough. Uh that's why I've definitely been on on the trading side a lot more this past month. I've been, you know, diving into sci-fi, and actually, getting into it again because I'm done waiting, bro. I'm tired of, you know, telling people like, nah, I can't chill, bro. I can't. I really got, the funds for that. You know what I mean? And or looking at my family struggle, and I can't do nothing about it. So really, I've been looking back on my whys and just really saying, F it. Like the time is now, bro. I waited here long enough. You know what I mean? And so I just know that uh, if I can get this in my head as like a sport and do what I do in those situations, then I can thrive in this situation. You know what I mean? And so that's just my big takeaway. Me and Marcus always talk about our whys all the time, and to think where we were, a year ago to where we are now. Yeah, we've made major strides, but we're nowhere near where the finish line is. You know what I mean? So just always trying to remind myself why I started, and try to be around the family as much as I can, with everybody being, hours away, and but yeah, bro, just making sure that my why is right in front of me as much as possible. That's why I don't know if y'all have seen me, my phone, my screen protector or my screensaver is me and my niece and my nephews. And I look at that every day just to, even though they're not my kids, like even with work, like I'm like, fuck, I gotta get up. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go to work, and because I know they're gonna want something. I know they're gonna be like, Theo, can you give me this? Can you give me that? And they do, you know what I'm saying? And it sucks when there's times I have to tell them like, well, maybe next time I get paid, or you know what I'm saying, or uh, but it's a joy that I can only imagine how it feels with your own kid to be like, I got you, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? And that's just a big thing that I've been trying to do lately is keep my why right in front of me. Keep my, just like Austin was saying, change it to pictures of the family. You know what I mean? And uh, try to give, because life is way too short. You know what I mean? And been through some things recently and making me realize that we don't got a lot of time. So just gotta keep my head down, keep gunning and going, and see where this thing takes me in the next year. You know what I'm saying? And I know with the people that we are constantly around, the environment we are constantly around and in, there's only one way but up. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's for me. Sorry for rambling though. Whoever's next, bro.
think it's just Miss Tia. Appreciate you sharing your insight, Nito. What do you call it? There, the book is free in the app. Just hit the book club tab. Go ahead, hit the library. It should be in the updated library button, but if it's not, it'll be in the regular library button. Just hit me if you need help getting it. What up, sister? What's poppin', sis? You want to share something? Just a little bit, a little something, something.
Oh, sorry, I was in the shower. But no, I think that like hearing all you guys speak is definitely made me think about what I'm gonna do with my life as soon as these kids start daycare or school or whatever they do. Because I'll obviously have a lot more free time on my hands. They're getting older. And I don't know, I need to remember my why. And like, I definitely, the podcasting that Marcus mentioned is something that me and Mikhail want to do for a long time. And that's something I'd love to do, along with other things I'm not really sure yet. But I need to like get the wheels turning and start thinking about those things and remember the why. I think my why obviously is for my family, my kids to have a good life, but also my parents to just like let them live their best life, let them travel wherever they want. Like that's the goal. So I've been seeing a lot of people. Sorry, they're being crazy up here. But I've been seeing a lot of people on social media like take their parents to like Paris for the first time or like just give them experiences that if it weren't for them, they literally wouldn't have probably their whole life. So I think it's just like that's definitely something I'm gonna be thinking about more and like honing down on my why and getting more focused because they could be starting daycare in the next like month or so. So I'll definitely have more free time and yeah, hopefully I'll start reading too. But I appreciate y'all and happy Saturday. You're muted.
No, I know, I saw it. I said happy Saturday, girl. We appreciate you. It's always good to hear your insight, truly, and I'm proud of you. I know it's a lot with the kiddos. You always been doing your thing ever since I meet you or I met you. So fire and desire. Appreciate everyone hopping on. Honestly, this one was really powerful and I love the insight. I think chapter 8 and 9 was something serious. And next week we're gonna be going over part 5. Yes, part 5. And I might have messed up. Oh yeah, part 5, which is chapters 11 and 12. I didn't realize part 4 had chapter 10. I'm tripping. So if you did not read chapter 10, y'all, please do so. It's like just the title. Communication is not about speaking, it's about listening. I think it's a very powerful chapter. So I'm going to read that and talk about it next week as well. But in terms of what we got going on, chapter 11 and 12 is going to be for part 5. And then the following week, we'll wrap it up with part 6. So when we start, or as we finish up next week's discussion, I will make sure that the new book and information gets posted in the TGF Book Club chat. Imani, I know you're in the Powerful Creator one. She has been keeping up with that from what I could tell. So she'll probably just copy and paste that thing in there. But if y'all have anything else you'd like to say before we sign off for the night, for the day, if not, y'all know the vibes. Appreciate y'all hopping on and we'll see you at the top. Bounds way together.
Everybody have a great day.
Y'all
All
stay
right,
blessed, y'all. Much love.